What's going on, family? Welcome back to the channel. Another Kaspa video. Of course, I want to be very straight with you. The opportunity that we have here goes all the way back to 2022 and from the Reddit days. I haven't seen Kaspa here since 2023. And in my opinion, the multipliers, as this article said on X, why KAS could be the easiest 5x ever. But we're not talking about 5x. I think the undervaluation of a powerful community, no pre-mine, no VCs, no allocations, fully diluted, almost 96% of the tokens are already out. And by the end of this year, it should really go deflationary. But for me, there's more to this. And I want you to smash the like button because people need to hear this in a bear market. You don't need these kind of videos in a bull market. In a bull market, you'd be dumping these bags at the top, right? So in my opinion, Bitcoin has entered its kind of 7 month of consecutive sideways price action. A lot of it is to do with the macro. The macro has not been kind. And if we look at the recent CPI release, of course, could have been worse, but inflation still above the Fed's target rate. We also have PMI showing inflation and of course, rates remaining elevated amid rise in demand for services. At the same time, with these last two critical data points, what we've seen is the Fed, the odds of a rate hike have gone from 45%, they were over 60% at the start of the month, 45% on CPI, and after PMI, they are now sitting at 30%. 34%, 34.6 to be exact. Next FOMC is about a month away. So this is going to be a critical time for you to be able to balance your portfolio and look at these pressures because it's not only cash, but that's deeply undervalued, right? The entire crypto altcoins, people are considering to leave the market. A lot of them have already left the market. And I don't understand. While most people play with meme coins and chase that kind of market, I'm sitting back laughing because if you're putting money into these kind of markets, as soon as there is liquidity, as soon as the Fed and the macro pressure goes away, as soon as there is, post-election or whatever you want to wait for, whatever catalyst. Right now, I really can't see a catalyst. But as soon as there's a catalyst, these markets tend to outperform. If Bitcoin goes up 20%, or 30% or even 5%, you're going to see the alts outrun Bitcoin, okay? So why are we talking about Kaspa here again? So the macro conditions are sticky. We still have this situation in Iran. We still have inflation. The jobs market is also not good. Now that's quite key because while we look at cryptocurrencies like Kaspa, you have to understand we are at the sharp end of the riskiest assets. So these are great assets to buy in a bear market. You have no business in buying crypto when everybody starts talking about it, okay? So I'm going to give you where I'm actually buying more Kaspa. I already hold, I don't need to buy Kaspa today, but where should I be buying more Kaspa? And before we look into that, I thought this debate here or this post here on X was pretty neat, okay? And there's other debates going on as well. The, Kaspa chain, easiest buying opportunity in the market. I thought this was pretty clear, easy to understand in terms of the valuation gap of the market. All-time high 2024, that was July, and market cap at 5 billion, top 25 assets, Marathon Digital, literally got involved and started mining, and the catalyst, what happened before, okay? But right now you've got almost a 90% discount, and in my opinion, instead of thinking of the easiest 5x, 10x, or 50x gains, I think what you need to talk about, without even addressing Entity X, which now clearly holds over $45 million of Kaspa. But if we look at the market, right? Bitcoin's still controlling the market by and large. If you look at what we've been through in this bear market with regards to BTC first, you could see that we are this is what we've been doing for the last 7 months. We go up, we break down, we go up, we break down. But if you take the top and the bottom here, we've just been ranging. Now, while Bitcoin remains trapped, in essence, in that major range, right? Going up here as high as, I believe it was kind of like 60, 68, 69,000, 70,000, dropping back down. While we've been trapped in this range, until BTC produces a convincing breakout with strong volume, the wider crypto market will continue to experience these aggressive rotations. 1 week, altcoins bounce. The next week, liquidity disappears again. People get trapped. And this is the opportunity I want you to think about when it comes to Kaspa, because Kaspa is offering itself. It's coming up and it's telling you, look, take me, right? Kaspa it doesn't really need for you to do deep analysis on, as long as you know what you're buying, as long as you know where the market is. Kaspa doesn't really care about, you don't need to waste too much time doing research. If you're going to do the research, the bulk of the research should be, man, where should I buy this thing? That's it. That is, for me, the most important aspect of Kaspa right now. It's not about the technology. It's not about, what's going on within the Kaspa developers and all of that. I think for me, the range is what I'm interested in most. So where would I buy this? You could see here, we've got fib level on this particular breakdown. We've got a very good zone here. Kaspa is closing out these wicks. We've also got this massive wick, right? We've got this huge wick. And this is from October. This is October 2025, right? So the price is obviously going all the way below 1 cent. So which one is true? Okay, it's not easy doing this because obviously predictions are predictions. At the end of the day, nobody catches the bottom. If we could catch bottoms and tops, we'd all be incredibly wealthy. But the best thing to do, the best way to go about this, in my opinion, none of this is financial advice. We're seeing that wick here, right? This is the February wick, and the futures wick was previous to that. That was a manipulation candle on the futures contract. But what we have is 3 distinct levels to buy Kaspa. The question is, I know a lot of you say in the comments, Kaspa is going to continue to fall down. So the first place where I think mid-range DCA levels would be just around that 2 cent level, okay? So this 2 cent level, it's a previous, you can see here, we've got a lot of price action to the left. So this would be exactly the range where it's going to drop down to eventually if it breaks support here, which is doing it. It's on its way here, 0.025. And I think it would come towards this block here. Beyond that, if we break that, then we are talking about 2022 vibes. So you're doing time travel. So in my opinion, with the CPI year over year at 3.4%, with the CPI data also coming out month on month at 0.1, and with the macro picture being a little bit more sticky than usual, you have the war. Let's not underestimate the war. The oil, China is not buying oil. That's why oil prices have remained relatively flat. But if China aggressively bought oil, you would see oil above $150, which what a lot of people are saying as its natural price point. So inflationary pressure, you've got producers level cooling, you've got all of these macro pressures coming, jobless claims at 209,000 against expected 202,000. This is all the smoke screen, okay? In isolation, a softer inflation for me, in my opinion, and a weaker labor data will basically reduce the pressure on the Fed to raise rates. And that's what we're seeing with the way that these odds have been priced in. So let's get to the numbers that we really want. So where would I buy Kaspa? I'll give you specific numbers, okay? And these would be consisting of first buying opportunities, deeper value zones, and of course, ultimate generational buys, okay? So let's go with that. Let me bring back the chart here very quickly. Okay, I know I've already talked about this, but let me break it down further for you. So if something goes wrong and crypto continues to fall, you don't want to be buying all at once where we are here, right? This is no man's land, right? You don't want to be just buying everything here. Although we have support to the left. So at 0.025, let's say I had $10,000 to spend, I would probably put, I would probably go something like this. And I know no one's going to tell you this, but I would love to tell you this because around these areas, I would love to have, if I had $10,000, I'd put $2,500 here. Pretty much where we are now. And in my opinion, it wouldn't hurt me because if we go to coin market cap, I'm going to show you something because what many people don't realize, right? What many people don't realize is as you DCA, you're not putting it's called dollar cost averaging for a reason, right? So you're not putting all your money in at once, but you have size and seat on the table. So $2,500 here gets you on what I consider to be a very much respectable Kaspa bag. You have 100,000 Kaspa, okay? Even if you go with, say, 1250 or let's say 1270 for argument's sake. All right, maybe you have less money to put into the market. You're not going to put $10,000 in Kaspa. You have only $5,000 or whatever. But with 50,000 Kaspa on a price projection of between 10 to about, in my opinion, it could even do 100x, but we don't want to talk about those numbers. But a 10x here is a low-hanging fruit. And I'll go back to here. You could see here, what reclaiming of July 2024, the market cap would 7x, right? So rationally speaking, not everyone's got, $10,000 to put in. So I would just buy to have a seat on the table. What do I mean by that? Because when you do this, you do not FOMO. You don't have that urge. You're not trading because a lot of us are our worst enemies. We are the ones who always trade our bags and fiddle around with the portfolio or FOMO in. If that price is to reverse now, let's say Kaspa now all of a sudden comes back and goes the other direction. If you had 50,000 Kaspa, if you bought $1,200, right? If you bought $1,200 here, $1,270, price goes the other way. You're not going to FOMO, okay? And that's actually the key. So what I would do while prices remain here, don't listen to those idiots who say wait for the ultimate bottom because it don't work like that. Chop and change your bag. That will get you 50 to 100,000, okay? 50K to 100K, okay? And I still got most of my money and I have a massive seat on my back, on the table, okay? I'm at the United Nations headquarters. I'm in the Security Council. And guess what? I don't give a damn if Kaspa price starts moving up because I have literally got this nice little bag here. All right, we go down to the next level. So we go back to this and we say, should Kaspa price come down further, I'm going to go and put another, I don't know, $1,270, $1,500. Then what I would do is I would put another 1,200 over here. At the end of the day, all I'm telling you to do is take advantage of the crazy. So then again here, the price comes down. I then buy another equal amount. Or what the best thing to do here would probably be, I would probably increase on here. So instead of buying $1,200, here maybe I'd buy $2,000 at 2 cents. Okay? At 0.02. Okay? Then the price comes down again. And then, of course, over here, I would have, by now, I should have another aim for, let's say, 150,000 tokens. Okay. So I'd say here, 150K tokens, right? Because I've increased the amount that I wanted to buy, and I've now accumulated 150,000 tokens. And then, of course, generational bag here. Just as an example, I would go bang. I would put in another, let's say, maybe here I would buy at these lows, I would probably put in another $3,000, right? Just as an example, right? It doesn't have to be exact maths, $3,000. And maybe here I would accumulate another 200K plus tokens. Do you see what I mean? If you then add up your bag, all of a sudden you've got 50,000, you've got 150,000, and then you bought another 200,000. So you've just accumulated 200,000 tokens at various different levels, and you've got seed on the table. What you could do alternatively is just to wait a little bit more, but you do run a risk of a market reversal. That is why that first level is so key in order for you to have just the number of tokens you need. If the market, should the market run against you, you have enough, but you haven't gone all in. I hope you like this video. And of course, this is the only rational way to DCA. But if you just wait and the market reverses and you don't have a bag, your buys could be $500. Your buys could be $250. You could buy $100. It doesn't really matter. But I'm seeing this key level here. I'm seeing that key level to be an absolute banger. And should Bitcoin reverse, because time's running out against you. With all due respect, time is changing, time is running out. And this is why I expect, in my opinion, Kaspa in the next 90 days, the next couple of months, will eventually find the bottom and reverse. Hope you liked the video. Big up to the brother who obviously sparked this debate. Big up to the Kaspa community. And of course, big up to everybody who's looking to scrape the bottom. Kaspa is well under $1 billion, guys. Hope you liked the video, and I'll do the next one. Probably I'll do a couple of more on different tokens as well. Let me know how if you're buying Kaspa, if you're dollar cost averaging, and if you're one of those people that are telling people not to buy based on the fact that Kaspa is going to go to 80% of a penny, which is where I got in back in the days. It may not happen. It may not happen. We haven't seen 2 cents since 2023. So, hey, time travel. We're going back 5 years, man. Take care, guys.